So the next question says, whenever there's a shortage at a particular price, the quantity sold at that price will equal 1, the quantity demanded at that price, 2, the quantity supplied at that price, 3, the quantity supplied minus the quantity demanded, or 4, quantity demanded plus quantity supplied. So when we talk about shortage, we should be referring to our supply and demand graph to just inform exactly what we're seeing happening on the graph, right? So let's take a look here. So we have our supply and demand curve, and then we have a supply curve. And so this is our equilibrium point where we normally see our equilibrium price and quantity happening, and a shortage would be if price were below equilibrium, right? So if we have P1, that's going to lead to quantity supplied here and quantity demanded here. And so this is our shortage, right? We have an excess quantity of goods being demanded at this price level and not enough of this quantity being supplied at QS. And so that leads us to have a shortage. So the question says, whenever there's a shortage at a particular price, the quantity sold at that price will equal which one of the following. And so we're talking about how many of these goods are actually ending up traded between consumers and sellers. And so that answer is going to be the quantity supplied. Every single unit that producers supply into this market is going to be bought by consumers, and then there's going to be this gap between people who still want to buy the good but are not able to because there's that shortage and nobody else is producing any more goods at this price. So it's going to be something that says quantity supplied, and so taking a look, it looks like answer choice 2 says the quantity supplied at that price, and that's going to be the right answer here. Whenever there's a shortage at a particular price, the quantity sold at that price will equal the quantity supplied at that price. And so everything that's supplied is sold, and then there's an excess of demand. Let's take a look at the previous tutor's question to see if they got the same thing. So the previous tutor said the quantity supplied at that price as well. And then they said a market experiences a shortage of products when the price prevailing in the market is less than what its equilibrium would allow. When the price is lower than the equilibrium, consumers are incentivized to increase their quantity demanded as per the law of demand, while producers are discouraged, causing a decrease in the quantity supplied. As the quantity demanded and quantity supplied move in opposite directions, a shortage is created in the market. Since the quantity supplied is lower than what is demanded, the quantity supplied becomes the quantity sold. And they have this graph to help. And so, great solution in graph. And I just want to clarify that it doesn't seem really clear at the end what they mean by, since the quantity supplied is lower than what is demanded, the quantity supplied becomes the quantity sold. So we can say that because because demand is so high, quantity supplied, all units that are supplied will find buyers, and that's why the quantity supplied becomes the quantity sold. All units that are supplied will find buyers, while no other units will be sold afterward because no more units are produced. That's why the quantity supplied becomes a quantity sold. And so we'll mark that as correct, and we can move on to our next question.